Hey guys, back to Robert Swindells' Stone Cold. This is the third reading, and we're just going to do a couple of short chapters tonight. Now, where did we get to? Oh yes, I remember. Time to move on. I'd applied for loads of jobs in the months since I'd left school. Office work, supermarkets, catering, filling stations, you name it. Most employers wanted experience, and some ads actually said unemployed persons need not apply, which is criminal in my opinion. I'd started applying in August and I'd had a couple of interviews, but as I said before, sleeping in your clothes makes you look scruffy, and by Christmas I looked like a tramp. I knew that nobody was going to take me on looking like that. I started to get really down. Christmas didn't help. I spent it at Carol's, which was kind of her, and Chris. But it was still the worst Christmas I'd ever had. For a start, there was my present. Carol and Mum had put their money together and got me this sleeping bag. A really posh job. Quilted, waterproof, the lot. Must have cost a bomb, and I knew they only meant to be kind, but it said something to me. It said they thought of me as a dosser. As someone who might always be a dosser. So we might as well be comfy if that was possible. It hurt like hell. And I've got to admit, the sleeping bag has come in handy. Anyway, there was that, and then there was Boxing Day. Boxing Day, Mum came round and she brought Vince with her. I can only think that Carol had never told Chris the full story about him, or surely Chris wouldn't have let him in the house. Anyway, they came for dinner and stayed till 1 o'clock the next morning, and of course everybody got drunk. Everybody except me. And once he had a skinful, Vince started making cracks about me. The ghost of Christmas past, he called me. Don't ask me why. I was a disgrace, he said, stuffing myself with my sister's grub, sitting there with my long hair and tatty clothes, making Mum feel guilty when she'd had nothing to feel guilty about. I was a scrounger, a sponger, a layabout, and I ought to be looking for work instead of sitting with a face as long as a fiddle, spoiling everybody's Christmas. It didn't feel like peace on earth, I can tell you. There wasn't a lot of goodwill towards men floating about. And the worst thing was, nobody stuck up for me. Not even my sister. It was then that I knew I'd worn out my welcome even here. So, on December the 28th, I borrowed the price of a one-way ticket to London. Carol lent me the money. She even came to see me off at the station and hugged me by before I climbed on board with my backpack and my bedroll. The next hug I got was from a stinky old ciderhead in Lincoln's Inn Fields when I gave him 20p so he'd leave me alone. Daily routine orders 4. It's 1900 hours and this has been a most satisfactory day. Most satisfactory. The secret of victory in any campaign is planning and preparation. My planning has been meticulous and my preparations are now complete. I have acquired a cat. This was my finishing touch. I can't abide the arse-licking, hair-scattering beasts myself. But you have to admit there's something reassuring about a home with a cat in it. A cat speaks of warmth, comfort, placid domesticity. A man who keeps a cat can't possibly mean anybody any harm, can he? I've christened it Sappho. A brilliant touch this, suggesting as it does a degree of scholarship in the creature's owner. I don't even know whether the bloody thing's male or female, and I don't care. The point being is that a fellow with a cat called Sappho is going to project a certain kind of image. Kindly and a little bit academic. He might be expected to have a vague conscience about sleeping snug and warm while others live rough. He'll be a bumbler, but he might be stirred now and then to actually do something about this, or to offer grub or a bed for the night to some poor unfortunate soul. No strings attached. So, it's shelter and Sappho. Could be a series on the telly, couldn't it? Shelter and Sappho, otherwise known as the Invincibles. All is ready. Recruiting can now commence. That's it for number 3.